Welcome back. You're tuned in to Chartbusters here on CNBC TV18. Well, as promised, we have the management of IMFA, that's Indian Metals and Ferro Alloys, that's buzzing in trade. What's the outlook with regard to Ferro Chrome prices from here on for the second half of the year? Well, to discuss that and more, we have Mr. Panda, the MD of the company, who joins us. Hi, Mr. Panda. Always a pleasure talking to you, sir. From the lows of 2020, we saw a good bounce in terms of Ferro Chrome prices. It went to around that 72,000 per ton mark on. But from there, we believe that there has been some cooling off. So could you give us, as of now, what is the pricing? And if yes, there is a tapering off, what is it? Is it because of demand getting weaker, or is it just someone is going in there and liquidating inventory?
Good morning, Nigel. Good to be on the show as always. Well, you're right that when the lockdown was lifted or started to be lifted in phases, at that point in time, ferrochrome had spurted to a level in domestic market of about close to 72,000 rupees a ton, and that has gradually eased off to closer to about 67.5 to 68,000 rupees a ton. I would attribute this actually to a couple of factors. One is that immediately after the lockdown phase, there was certainly an element of pent-up demand. And now we're looking at more normal demand, which is still growing, but that anxiety to get back into production by stainless steel producers, etc., I guess is not there in the market. So that's one aspect. Secondly, we certainly don't see an issue in demand. As I said, it's more at normal levels. But yes, there is an element of some of the smaller producers looking to liquidate some tonnage. And you know how it works out when somebody with 1,000 tons offers that to 10 different outlets, and it suddenly looks like there's a lot of surplus material floating around, which is not the case. So all good on the demand front is how I would categorize it.
Okay, so some cooling off in terms of prices, but nothing to worry because demand is as steady as it can be. We get that point. Give us a couple of numbers then. You told us last time you were running at optimum capacity utilization level, which is around 60,000 per quarter. So for this year, 2.3, 2.4, could be a target that you're looking at in terms of volumes. And also, could you tell us about the export domestic sales mix? Has it returned back to that 80-20?
So actually, we are running at optimal, as I mentioned during our last interaction. In fact, as far as Q2 is concerned, our production numbers were a little bit more than 60,000, closer to 64,000, if I remember the numbers correctly. So in as much as the full year is concerned, we are looking as of now at a guidance of about 240,000 to 250,000 tons. We will see how it pans out. In as much as the export and domestic sales mix is concerned, yes, we are certainly now supplying a little bit more tonnage to the domestic market as opposed to the peak of the lockdown period when we were, I think, close to about 95% exports. Not 80-20 yet, but certainly reorienting ourselves back to our usual domestic sales.
Okay, all right. And give us a sense in terms of chrome ore availability domestically. There was an auction that had to take place from OMC. Did that take place? Has the situation improved for the non-integrated players? For you all, you all get all your chrome ore captively. So you all don't really get impacted by that.
So we like you said, are not particularly impacted because we meet most of our chrome ore from our captive mines. We do buy a little bit of tonnage for chemical balancing requirements, so to say. But in as much as OMC auctions are concerned, yes, that has taken place. I don't think ore availability is as good as it ought to be, but it's also not as constrained as it was a couple of months ago, which was an effect of the extended monsoon and things like that. And not to mention a couple of the merchant mines which were bid in auctions have now actually started operating and are making material available. So we do expect ore availability to ease up a little bit going ahead. But do keep in mind that these merchant mines have bid very high numbers in auctions, and that is going to keep the cost base for this ore a little higher than it used to be earlier.
Okay, all right. In terms of the debt number, last time you told us it was at around 450 crores approximately. I was looking at your Q2 numbers. I believe the long-term loan has come down to around 430 crores. For the year, 50 crores of long-term debt repayment. That's on the cards?
In fact, a little bit more than that. So let me give you a little background. we had availed the moratorium as an abundance of caution, even though we were operating through the lockdown, but just to preserve liquidity because uncertainty levels were higher, which have of course improved right now. So we anticipate, paying back the moratorium that we availed in addition to our regular debt repayment. So if that happens, then we are looking to close FY21 with a long-term debt level of about, let's say 340, 350 crores. With no significant capex on the cards at the moment, we are certainly, as far as FY22 is concerned, we are also looking at paring that debt down further. But to focus on FY21, we are targeting a debt equity of about little less than 0.3. If all goes well.
All right, so you'll be looking to pay more debt than earlier, earlier numbers that we were working with. Also, in terms of your volumes, targeting a little higher number at around 2.5 lakh. And also, as you told us, that yes, there is some tapering off in terms of pricing, but nothing to worry as demand is strong. Thanks so much, Mr. Panda, for joining in and giving us a broad look in terms of ferrochrome prices as well as the chrome ore availability. Well, on that note, though, we have run out of time on Chartbusters. But before we head into the break, here's something that you, our viewers, must take note of. CNBC TV18 and the National Stock Exchange have come together to promote investor awareness through a special campaign, Informed Investor. Now, that empowers you to make the right decisions with your money. When a stranger asks for your home or maybe your car keys, you immediately reject the proposal without having any second thoughts. Similarly, you need to make sure that you keep your passwords of all financial transactions confidential and don't share it with anyone. An informed investor is one who knows that sharing passwords is as good as sharing finances. So please be careful. Well, we'll wrap up, but you stay with us. Trading Hour comes up next.